Hi, my name is Shelley Power, and I'm the Executive Director at Hope Center Ministries, and I have been serving in this capacity since 2008. And I love this place. I love the mission and work of Hope Center Ministries to be a place of spiritual care and belonging for individuals with disabilities. To be a place that encourages connection with God, that encourages connection with other people, that helps individuals with disabilities discover their gifts and talents and challenges them to use them in service to their community. And I love being able to share God's picture of inclusion in all different ways, because every community is made stronger by the inclusion of people with disabilities. This annual report from me is being done in a way that I've never given one before, but that is because we have had a year like no other. The last 15 months have held incredible obstacles, but also incredible joys, and I hope to share all of that in the next few minutes in this way. But before I do, I really want to say a heartfelt thank you to all of our core members, the individuals with disabilities themselves who participate in our many programs. Your enthusiasm, your care, and your desire to be a part of this ministry makes such a big difference in Hope Center. You teach us every day. And to our members and our donors, we are so incredibly grateful for the gifts that you give us and the encouragement that you have been. And I want to say thank you to the board of directors. This, like I said, has been an incredibly difficult year, and they have been very intentional about supporting us as a staff and just being an encouragement for all the things that have needed to happen. And lastly, but certainly not least, I want to thank my staff team. You know, everything that has happened has taken a lot of work from a group of people working together. And I am so grateful for their creativity. I'm grateful for their enthusiasm. I am amazed at their adaptability and their flexibility. And I applaud their commitment and their dedication to Hope Center Ministries. I want you to think back with me to March 2020. And I want you to just be in that space where I was, because that's where I've started for this report. March 2020. We were hearing all kinds of just rumors of COVID-19. And yet so many things were needing to close. And we made the hard decision that Hope Center Ministries would also need to close its doors. But everything that we have done in response to that moment has been based on one conversation with one of our core members, who, as that was happening, sat down with me and said, Hope Center can't close. We need Hope Center. We need to hear about God. We need to do those things. Please don't let it stop. That was the basis of the very first letter that I sent out. And all of that first season, all of spring was planned in response to that conversation. Now, I'll admit, when we started planning, we thought we were going to be planning something different for just a couple of weeks. We didn't imagine months. And we definitely didn't imagine over a year. But the story that has unfolded is just an incredible testimony to the greatness of God and how He works in and through all situations and in and through all people. Our response began simply with a promise that we weren't going to say canceled or closed, that we were going to adapt our language and replace things that we knew people were going to be missing. We didn't want to add to the collective grief that was happening as people received notice after notice that things that they loved and wanted to do were no longer accessible to them. And so rather than saying we won't be having any Sunday worship anymore, we started to put out some daily devotional videos and some how to create a worship experience at home using the resources that we were committing to make. And we've heard many stories how people used those videos as the morning devotions in a time where they just needed that. We've heard other stories from families and some people who have come very faithfully on Sundays about how they would shape their own at-home church experience. And they'd use our video teachings and some of the songs that we put out. And we knew that we weren't gathering to complete our friendship lessons, our Bible study that would meet on Thursdays. And so instead, we created PDFs and we sent the work home so that people could complete what they had begun. And we would get messages in those early days that said, wow, I really hope that COVID will be over before it's time for us to go to Camp Arnez, a treasured weekend away that's happened every spring for as long as I've been here and many, many years prior to that. But the closer we got, the more we realized we weren't going to Camp Arnez. And so rather than saying retreat is canceled, we found a way to pack up retreat into a box and to celebrate that we can still be community and participate in things together, make memories together, feel connected to one another, all within the comfort of our own home. It was great fun to see the pictures come in of all the different people in their t-shirts. And we got to see firsthand what a difference tactile things in people's hands made. When things in my hands are the same as things in your hands, even though we are separated by great distances, there is that moment that we feel connected. We were excited to be able to hire a staff ministry team and to kind of reimagine our summer last year, to create more online resources and to facilitate different kinds of connections. But as we started moving closer to September 2020, we needed to make an important decision. We needed to decide how we were going to offer programs in the fall. And as we surveyed the needs of different people that came to our programs, we soon found that there was a spectrum of responses to the different restrictions that were coming and going at that time. And so we made the plan that we would not open everything up at Hope Center or offer in-person weekly programs until it was possible for everyone in that spectrum to say yes if they wanted to. And so we took some time to reimagine and reinvent what our Bible study times could be. And we got really excited about some of the things that we had learned in the retreat that happened in a box, some of the things that we had witnessed over summer. We already knew that people loved seeing other people via Zoom. We knew that it was important to put things in people's hands. And we knew that people were craving participating in something that they had participated in for a long time. And so we focused on creating friendship at home. We wanted to be able to pack up everything that we knew people were looking for and be able to deliver it to their homes and have it contain the kinds of things that we knew people had come to love. We needed it to have that interaction piece. And so we did that through our Thursdays Friendship at Home. And this has become an amazing thing. Our very first unit started in September, and we had 35 individuals join us. We made sure that everyone was put into their own subgroup that never changed, so that we could build routines and predictability, so that people could get comfortable with one another, and so that we could facilitate the building of relationships within those smaller groups. And we got to see over and over again the difference that those tactile items made. Our very first big item that we sent home with everyone has become an icon for friendship at home. This is our heart prayer pillow. This is our at-home reminder that God is always with us, that we can talk to him at any time. But it's also something that we can see and that we can feel and that we can touch, and just remember that he is in our midst. We have done 3 Bible studies between September and May. And like I said before, we had 35 at our first group, and our last group in May, we had over 60 people registered. And we have broken through barriers of geography. It's kind of been incredible to watch. We have people attending from Steinbach, from St. Pierre, from Altona, from Portage la Prairie, and from Gimli. And the attendance rate at our programs has been amazing. It's over 90%. We are finding that people who sign up and register are attending very, very faithfully. And just last week, we hosted Retreat in a Box number 2. And there too, we have seen an increase in demand for these kind of programs. Our first retreat in 2020 had about 60 registered attendees. And last week, we had over 85 registered attendees. And there were over 101 t-shirts given away. Those t-shirts represented other people in homes who were participating alongside and volunteers. But what a big picture of community that became. And so here we are right now, realizing that we're in a place where we need to once again discern. Where is God calling us as a ministry? And so one of the things I want to do is to invite you into that story and invite you to pray for us as a ministry as we think through these next steps. Because you see, we know that there are people attending our current programs who, if in future days we switch back to all the kinds of programmings that used to be, are going to be missing it. I don't want you to hear that we're planning on not having in-person programs, because that's not true. We desperately want to be able to gather and have people connecting person to person. We value that. But we've started to use a new word when we think about moving forward into the future. And that word is hybrid. That word is taking everything that we have seen work so well virtually and be able to offer that as one stream of programming. And be able to also offer some gathering kinds of events. Now, I don't know what everything in this side will be right now. That's where we need to pray. That's where we need to really do some careful thinking. Because I don't know if those in-person gatherings will represent Sunday evenings or if they'll represent Thursday evenings. I don't know if they'll represent Saturday mornings or Monday afternoons. All we know right now is that we want to take steps towards coming back together for in-person connecting times. And we also know that we want to move forward, continuing to offer some of our friendship from home, so that people who have been so faithfully connected can continue to feel connected, can continue to grow in their faith. Now, I could talk a long time about the things that we have learned this year, about the different things that have challenged us and enjoyed. But what I really, really want to focus on is that God has done amazing things. I want us all to just take a moment to look and see what God has done. To look at some of the pictures that we have taken and received throughout this year, and to kind of marvel that even though our prayer was for growth for many years, that we have experienced incredible growth in incredible ways, and it has all happened in the midst of a global pandemic. And so I'm going to share pictures. You'll see pictures from retreats, pictures from friendship. You're going to see pictures of community that has continued to grow and connect and in some ways thrive. And together, may we look at those pictures and just say, wow, look what God has done.